We're taking a look at the electricity situation here in the country, and let's see where we are at the moment. But yes, we do know there are complaints, comments here and there, time and again from consumers, then the actions of NERC. But we're starting off today with the discourse. We've got Mr. Sunday Odutson, who is the Director, Research and Advocacy, Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So is your association that the discos that, in fact, you speak for all the discos right now?
All over the country, yeah.
Okay. Let's start off with that directive by NERC, because it had to do with discipline, where they said they were going to sanction erring discos that refuse electricity allotted to them. What's that about? Are some of your members refusing certain things?
Well, I think, thank you very much. I think we need to understand the basic issues involved. First of all, may I start? First of all, because I realize that the issue of electricity has a lot to do with people not having the awareness of this sector. So instead of starting from the top, maybe we start from right below. We need to know, first of all, that the electricity industry in this country, the value chain, there are 3 layers. Not for you, the elite, but for ordinary people, they need to understand that we have generators.
I get charged too, and I have generators.
Good. So if you don't want more generators, then we need to understand and then see how we can solve the problem. We have the generators, those are the GENCOs, they're private. We have the TCN, owned by the federal government, but privately managed by a Canadian company called Manitoba. That's the one in the middle. That's the transmission company of Nigeria. Okay? We have the DISCOs, the distribution companies, 11 of us. Okay? We are the one below this. We are the one that you see. We are the one that give you
the one we pay to.
We are the one you beat up all the time. So we are the one that take all the flags. But we are not new NEPA. We are not PSCN. And we are not the incompetent group of people that you think. But you need to know our problem. Okay? To get it right, I had a gentleman speaking earlier there saying that we have to get our priorities right. If truly we want to exist in this country, let's be real. Number one, we have to pay for the service, even the federal government. So when we're talking about we don't have meters, we don't have, of course we want that. The more I meter you, the more money I'll get from you. Okay? It is in our interest for all of you to have meters. I'm not preempting you, I'm just telling you, let's be real. Okay? You can't owe him debt and then expect services to be given to you. And I'll give you an example. The Nigerian military, the almighty Nigerian military. I'll give you some figures. The Nigerian military, let me talk about around this area alone. The Nigerian military in Ogun State, nearby here, they are owing us 807 million naira. And I'm talking about debt between November 1st, 2013 and to date, end of July. We took over these utility companies on the 1st of November 2013. Ogun State, 807 million naira. In Osun State, Nigerian military are owing us 80 million naira, that's very low. In Kwara State, it's 1.07 billion naira. In Oyo State, it's 2.04 billion naira. If people in Kano, Nigeria Air Force, their staff quarters alone, they are owing us 178 million naira. I can go on and on. And if you look at all of this, you will see that unless and until we are able to really become a more responsible country in terms of paying for, I lived in the UK for 25 years. When you collect your salary in a month, the first thing you think about will be your bills, utilities. We want good service, but we should be able to pay for good service.
Okay, but what about, many Nigerians pay for this service, and at the moment, they're not getting value for money. So how do we explain that?
Well, if you say many Nigerians are paid for these services, and they are not getting value for money, the first thing I would like you to know is that we only took up these utility companies less than 2 years ago. And what we had in the past is embarrassing for a nation like this. The rot of over 50 years, you can't clean that up in 2 years. That's number one. We're talking about the infrastructure. We're talking about the attitude. When you say people pay, I can assure you wherever you live, on your streets, there are so many energy thieves.
Okay, before we come to that, let's get back to where we started off.
Yes.
Because since you've talked about those who are owing you why they need to pay in order to get service.
Yes.
What was that directive from NERC about?
Okay. The directive from NEC is about what we call load allocation. I don't know whether you had the word imbalance penalty before. I will explain to you what it's all about. All the discos are giving load allocation. You know, we have, the generation has not been, it just improved it now. So in a country like this where we have far less than what we need, we now do a kind of allocation. You are Abuja, we give you a particular percentage. If Maupe is, Abuja, for instance, has 11.5% load allocation. What now happens is, if for some reasons, either there's more generation, or the transmission grid, the TCN, for some reason cannot get electricity to a particular place, the extra, they now give it to, or I would say they dump it with a particular, let me use Abuja as a good example. Their own load allocation is 11.5%. So when they now get the extra one, which is good, which means they will be able to supply more people with electricity, more hours. Remember, we pay for this electricity, so they will pay for that extra one. But what is so perverse since 2012 is that our regulator, they now make them to pay penalty for having more than was allocated to them. Let me repeat. My allocation is 11.7. For some reason, you now give me 2% this week, just because my player has not been able to take that into her own network.
Who is giving?
Who's giving
the extra 2%?
You know what? You cannot store electricity.
Okay, so
that's the basic thing.
The transmission company.
Once you generate it, transmit it, it has to go somewhere.
Okay.
So in the course of doing that, you now give, everybody has their own allocation. The way you give them more than their own allocation, they will pay for that electricity. But in addition to that, they will now be penalized. That's what we call imbalance penalty. Abuja Disco has had to pay 8 billion naira. So that's why some Disco are saying we are very reluctant to take more than...
The regulator penalizes them
for taking more electricity
that they did not request for.
Exactly.
I thought they said Abuja Disco was sanctioned because of billing issues they had with customers, and NERC directed them to refund those customers.
These are separate things.
The two separate ones.
There are two separate issues.
But that also happened.
There are two separate issues.
Yeah, but did that one happen?
You need to understand.
I get your point.
Yes.
But did this one happen while you wait to explain?
The issue of saying penalizing people on the issue of billing, we have to again go back to how come we have issues with billing.
No, but did that happen?
Some of these things happen, but I'm sorry, not all of them happen. That's why I'm saying we have a lot of issues. Even the issue of imbalance penalty, 2 weeks ago we had a meeting with NEC and it was abolished. That is a vindication of what we're saying, the discourse. If the imbalance penalty was fair, if it was not perverse, how come they now abolished it? Now that we have more generation. But what it means is that if we don't abolish it, you can't force me to take more than, because I will not be paying for, I shouldn't be paying extra for giving better service. That is the issue.
In some cases, some people have reported some improvements in their areas. I don't know if it's all over the country, but
thank you.
Maybe it's as a result of this extras. Maybe some people are not getting at all, so maybe some people might not report that improvement. But it would seem that some distribution companies are getting a lot more than is allocated to them. What exactly has been responsible for this perceived improvement?
Well, I would say that we now have more generation.
The generation
we have more gas available. It has gone up. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't seem to have gone up beyond what was, the installed capacity. The installed, we understand that it's close to 10,000. At least the transmission company can carry at least 5,000, and it's carried it before. So it's not new, as it were.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that the generation has gone up because what we generated before, a couple of months ago, we all know it was less than 3,000. Now we have about 5,000. 2 days ago, about 5,000. Hoping that we can sustain that. But when the generation... How do we
get to 5? How do we improve? What cost is it the improved rate?
One, we now have gas. I believe, the incidence of gas pipeline vandalization has gone down a lot. I don't know whether that has to do with the leadership of the country or the new government. I wouldn't know that, but you know that more than I do. But I know that we now have things that we didn't have before, okay? And with that, we are happy because the more, you see, like I said, for us, we are like beer distributors. If you're a beer distributor, you go to a brewery, you have your money to buy beer. Assuming you're supplying 200 beer parlors. Every time you go there, you pay for 200 cartons of beer. They give it to you. You give it to your customer. They are there to drink their beer. They pay you. But you get there one day, and they say, sorry, we can only give you 10 cartons because one of our machines is defective. You as a beer distributor, do you have access to their equipment? Can you do anything about it? You can't. So for us, anything generation, transmission, we can't do anything about it. We can only distribute what has been generated. And I'm saying we are happy. The more they generate and give to us and transmit to us, the more we distribute and the more money we collect.